And after counting in Parliament, very soon, as a people, we will be counted as well. And it won't just be a head count in Parliament, it will be a head count nationally. I'm talking about the 2021 National Census. We'll be talking about it shortly, but it's time for Arrive Alive. And 517 people have died from road accidents between January and February 2021. This is a significant increase in the 393 cases recorded in the same period last year. That's 124 more deaths were recorded this year compared to last year, the same period. Ghana loses an average of 310 children to road traffic accidents. In economic terms, it constitutes 1.6% of our GDP, which translates to about $800 million. Sadly, all these accidents happen on the country's good roads, which are unfortunately single carriage lanes. About $200 million out of the $800 million can significantly improve the road network and thereby reducing carnage drastically. So what is stopping state actors to take action? Let me share with you some findings from the Ghana Police Service on our roads in terms of the figures as we have it. So our report, January to February 2021, 517 persons were killed just between January and February 2021. That's how many lives we've lost, 517. That's it. And then also, in terms of our figures, the regional figures, look at it. The Ashanti region is topping with 108. And then also we have the Eastern region with 91 and the Greater Accra 89. That's how it looks like, and that's the figures when it comes to the regional breakdown. And also 2,560 cases have been reported. That's the reported figures that we have, over 2,000. And then we have commercial cases. We have 1,581, and these are figures just for January and February. We don't even have the March figures just yet. These are the figures that have been reported so far. Commercial cases, 1,581. Then also motorcycles involved. They are not left out. 974 motorcycles involved in the accident reports that we have for January to February. Then for pedestrians knocked down, we have 2,766. 2,766 pedestrians alone have been knocked down between the period of January and February. These are the accidents reports we have as a country. And then also our statistics over the years from 2015 all the way to 2020. So between 2015 and 2020, these are the figures as it looked like between that same period. That's how it looks like. And then 2021 major road accident so far, Buipe Tamale accident, we've had it. Truck runs over student in Mankasim. Achim Asafo accident. Then the Accra Tema motorway accident, Bolga Navrungo accident, and the Chichire accident. That's the Ghana Police Service data that we have. The 2021 major accidents we've recorded so far, Buipe to Chichire, Bolga, Accra Tema motorway, Achim Asafo, and then a truck running over a student in Mankasim. Unfortunately, these are the figures that we have. Unfortunately, these are the figures. That's how it looks like January to February 2021 major road accidents. It's a part of our Arrive Alive campaign. We need to take a look at it. Road accidents, very major. One of the key issues that we need to pay attention to as a country. We've lost too many, 517 deaths recorded between January and February alone. I bet you think it's disturbing. I think so too. And that's part of our Arrive Alive campaign. We'll have a lot more talk on it shortly as part of our Arrive Alive campaign together with the National Road Safety Authority, Logistics Movers and Toyota Ghana Limited, and of course in collaboration with JoyNews as well. I'll talk more about it shortly, but I was telling you about the headcount in Parliament earlier as you witnessed it. But very soon you will be counted as well because we are getting ready for the 2021 census. And today the Vice President, Dr. Baumia, launched the 100-day countdown, and it's starting today. Is the population and housing census. You need to get ready for it. And George Emmanuel Osei is head of census, and he joins us on the phone. I bet you'll be wondering what exactly will be happening, joining him via Zoom. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Emmanuel Osei. We're grateful for your time. A lot of questions I have when it comes to population and housing census, but I hope you would want to tell us a bit about today's 100-day countdown and the launch by the Vice President. How did it go, you'd say?
Thank you very much. And we're so grateful for this opportunity to let the whole country know about what we did today. Though for the census, we have what we call the census night, and that becomes a reference period for which we refer the enumeration processes through. The questions that we ask, that becomes our reference point for which we ask the questions. So we needed to draw the attention of the general public to this very important day, today being 100 days to the census night. And the census night, as was declared by His Excellency, the Vice President, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, 27th of June 2021, which is a Sunday, will become our census night date. And so that will be, as I said earlier on, that will be the reference point for which we're going to enumerate our population and then ask questions with reference to the questions that we're going to ask.
Okay, so then the 100-day countdown to census night is on. It means that the clock starts ticking from today. What do we need to know? Why do we have to get counted again in 2021? Why exactly has it become necessary?
I think the main issue is that as we are human and as time goes on and as time changes, our characteristics also changes. Because I believe that if you look at 10 years back, you'll find yourself not to be as you are today. So certain changes have taken place, and the population have also changed due to certain issues that we'll have to look at and then begin to know the trend that is how it is going, and also the characteristics of the population that has evolved since the last count from 2010 up till now. So that is going to give us the characteristics of the population as we have for the 2021 round of censuses, which Ghana, the 2020 round of censuses, which Ghana is conducting its population and housing census this year.
Okay, so prior to the registration last year, there was a lot of talk as to why a census was not conducted before the registration was conducted. I'm sure you heard that argument as well. What really was the situation? Was it supposed to have been done last year? And why was it not done last year and it's been done this year?
Yes, the last census that we did was in 2010. Mm-hmm. So if you look at the 10-year period, then we should have had it in 2020. We made our preparations, government came in, but unfortunately, we all know of the pandemic that came up, the COVID-19 pandemic, and therefore, this threw away our programs and all that we had planned to do. And therefore, we needed to reschedule, and the National Steering Committee, in consultation with the JSS, have come out with this date, and then the government have also approved of it, and therefore, that is what. So the COVID that actually gave us that change for the program to come on this year.
Well, the blames that COVID gets, but what exactly then will be happening going forward since we have the launch officially done today? So going forward, what are we to expect as we count down to census night?
Yes, so from hence, we're going to see a lot of press releases coming up, and then also a lot of publicity engagement with the general public to make sure that people understand what we want to do, and then also get the support of the general public to get themselves involved in the census process, because it is going to help us to know who we are, where we are, and where we have evolved from the 2010 census till now, what changes have taken place in the Ghanaian community, and therefore what plans does government have to put in development programs and projects for the benefit of the whole society.
Okay, so am I to expect people coming round? Am I to expect anybody at my door? What exactly am I supposed to expect as we go along the line?
From the 13th of June, where we're going to start the main enumeration period, which will be the listing of structures. We'll be going to list structures from hence. So you see people in their jacket, in their census jacket, with their ID cards, coming to write on our structures. And this is going to help us to also know the number of houses within the Ghanaian system. And then from the 28th of June, then they will actually start the enumeration process, where they will begin to ask you questions about the household that you belong to, and then members of the household, and then we begin to enumerate the population from hence.
And these persons, in terms of the plans that we have, would you say that everything is in place? Because you were supposed to have it last year, it didn't happen. And so we can be assured that all plans are far advanced when it comes to this.
Yes, I would say that plans are far advanced, as was stated by the Vice President and then also by my Chief Executive, that plans are far advanced to actually conduct the census. So we are just praying with Ghanaians to receive our enumerators into their homes, and then make sure that we get the maximum support so that we can get credible data to be able to come out with better policies, government to be able to come out with better policies to be able to move the country forward.
Okay, so before I ask you about what exactly in terms of data you're looking at, it's a good time to also bring in the general public, because a lot of people are pretty, excited about this issue, and they have a lot of concerns as well. So I'm all about the audience. So the phone lines are activated. Is 030-221-1691 or 92. You can also call in quickly and then ask Mr. George Emmanuel Osei your own questions as well. But in terms of collection of data, Mr. Osei, what exactly am I to expect in terms of the questions that your enumerators will be asking me?
So we're going to ask questions about demographics, that is about your age, the sex, the household that you have, the relationship to the head of household, and then we also talk about a little bit about migration. We want to ask you about questions on where you have lived within the past 5 years or so. If there has been movement, then you will tell us. And then again, we'll also ask about literacy. Okay. And then education. So questions will be asked about the level of whether you can read or write, and then whether you've been to school, if you've ever attended school or not. So based upon that, then questions will be asked, further questions will be asked. Then again, we'll also look at economic activity, where we'll be asking you about the work that you do, that is the occupation, and then also the industry in which that occupation is found. Okay. And then we'll go further to ask of the sector of employment, whether you are into the public or this thing, and then also your status of employment, whether you are an employee or you are whether you are an employee or you are an employed person.
Okay. Well,
and then after that, we also have questions on ICT. We're going to ask whether you have a phone, you have access to internet and all those questions. So that will also come. We'll also talk about fertility, where we'll ask women 12 years and older about their fertility, their issues. And then we'll also talk about mortality issues.
I'm sure I would interrogate you more. I'll ask more questions on the fertility issues, why you need to know whether a woman is fertile or not, and why you're not asking a man about their fertility issues. But I would ask you more about that. But sorry to ambush you. We have some callers joining us, and please, some housekeeping. Once you join us, you go straight to the point with your quick question. Then we can take as many callers as possible. Then we can wrap up with Mr. Emmanuel. So Bismarck from Have, welcome, Bismarck.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Wezo, your question, please.
All right. My only question is, when will the training of enumerators take place?
Okay.
Specifically that of the IT officials.
Okay.
If it has taken place, have they already taken everybody? Or it will be done in batches.
Okay, Bismarck, that's straight to the point. Thank you very much. Training of enumerators will take it shortly. Suleimana from Tamale, welcome, Suleimana.
Yeah, thank you. I'm the Tamale Metro GSDD chairman.
Super.
Yeah, I want to know how many persons with disabilities are taking part in the enumerators.
Good. Thank you very much, Suleimana, for your question. We have another call. I want to take a few calls, then Mr. Osei can, respond to them. But whilst we wait, Mr. Osei, so there's a question about training of enumerators. Has that been done? You talked about plans being far advanced. Have you done that already?
No, we haven't done that. We have levels of training. So we have done what we have the masters, like the level at which we train our master trainers. Then we also have the level at which we train our national trainers. We have regional trainers, and then from there we'll go to the training of our enumerators, and then the supervisors who will actually go to the field to actually collect the data on behalf of the Ghana Statistical Service. Okay. So that will be done some weeks prior to the listing, the 13th June that I did say. So for now, we are doing the national level of training, where we are training our national trainers who will go to train about 5,000 plus regional trainers, who will then go down to go and train the enumerators in about 2,000 classrooms, where we're going to deploy about 70,000 people to the field, and therefore we're going to train more than the 70,000 people. Then from there, we will then get about 70,000 to go to the field to collect the data for us. Okay, so the enumerators will come on in May. That is where the training of the enumerators will come on. Okay, so I'll plead with you to give me very straightforward answers, Mr. Osei. I'll plead with you to give me very straightforward answers so we can take as many questions as possible, then you can take responses as well. So on the issues about trainers, Ebenezer from Nkoko is asking whether teachers will be recruited as well. But you can keep that in mind. Kosame from Nima is joining us. Hello, Kosame.
Hello, my sister. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Kosame. Thanks for asking your question.
Thank you very much. My question is, I want how much are we spending on this, and it wouldn't it have been cost effective when we use like the youth communities in our communities, those who are with the people, to help us do this thing well? Okay. That's my question.
Thank you very much, Kosame. Interesting question. I've just noted cost here as well. But there's a question, Mr. Osei, also about how many persons with disability are you hoping to recruit as well to be part of it? And then there was a question whether you're going to take teachers on as enumerators.
There's a number of persons with disability to take on. I mean, the bureau where we are asking people to go and register online is open. So it's open to all Ghanaians. Each and every person is eligible. If you have the necessary qualification, you are eligible to vote, to go and register online, so that you will be able to be shortlisted when we find out that you qualify, you fail, you've given us all the needed documentation, that you qualify to come up. So we've actually not come out with a specific number of persons with disability. So any person with disability who qualifies with a minimum qualification of SSCE should be able to go online and then register.
Okay.
And then henceforth we'll do the selection, and then we'll be able to know who will go to the field after the training.
And how many days will the enumeration take?
The enumeration period itself, we have about 7 days for the listing period, and then also 14 days for the enumeration proper. So the enumeration proper will be 14 days. But like I told you, the listing of structures will precede the enumeration for about 7 days.
Okay, great. And then the big question about the cost, I had also written it down, and we are interested. How much is it going to cost us as a nation? And Kosame is asking whether we couldn't have used our unit committees to get this information that you're looking for. So first, the issue about cost.
Yes, the issue about cost is going to cost us about 577 million Ghana cedis, and this will come. Yes, it's going to cost us 577 million Ghana cedis. That is the total budget for the 2021 population and housing census, and this will take care of our the tablets and the payment of enumerators and everything that we are buying or we are engaging with regarding the 2021 census. And with regard to why wouldn't it be better if we use our unit committee members? Yes, if they qualify, then you will be able to go online, register, and then you will be selected.
Okay, so there are a lot of questions via WhatsApp on whether the portal is still open, because some of them are having difficulty signing up to the portal. What exactly is the status?
Yes, the portal is still open, so people can go online and then also register with the service.
Okay.
And then we are also saying that those who have already registered should go in and then update their profile so that we can know that you are actually are ready with us, you are ready to go with us for the next period, that the line of action that we want to undertake.
Okay, Mr. Emmanuel Osei, we'll leave it here for now. In the coming days, expect more questions from us. And thank you very much. George Emmanuel Osei is the head of census at the Ghana Statistical Service, and we're getting ready for the 2021 census. What's supposed to happen last year in 2020 before the registration, but that did not happen, and he blames COVID for that. And we're going to spend 577 million Ghana cedis for that. And in the coming days, more questions will be asked about that. So that's the 2021 census, and 100 days to census night has been launched today by the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And this is the pulse here on the JoyNews channel. And before we talked about census, I was telling you about our Arrive Alive campaign and the road accidents, the number of it that we've recorded. 517 persons we've lost just between January and February 2021. How many more lives do we want to lose before we pay attention to our nature and our behavior on our roads? Road accidents claiming more lives than we've seen with COVID, for instance. So we need to pay attention to it. And we've been joined on the phone by Cyril Crab, President of Accident Victim Support, and he's joining us shortly in the studio shortly. But Mr. Adonting is head of planning, National Road Safety Authority, is also joining us via phone. But before then, let's listen to the ranking member on the Transport Committee in Parliament, Governor Kwame Agboja, who says the answer does not lie with dualizing our roads.
So wait, we do have some of the horrific accidents on Accra Temamoto, which is a dual carry. So it is not entirely correct to say that once the roads are good, people will do the right thing. I mean, if you are even driving on the, if you are driving on the Accra Temamoto way, you will notice trucks who are driving sometimes 40 kilometers per hour are in the inner lane, and then maybe somebody drives all the way feeling, oh, it is a clear road, and then just realize that the speed of the vehicle ahead of you is much slower than yours. So yes, it is good that we should improve the conditions of our road, but that would not solve the problem if driver error is not addressed, especially in the era where we have problems with National Road Safety Authority not having the necessary resources to carry out education, NCCD, checking drivers and other things, we will not be able to address this thing even if we were to improve the conditions of the on the road. If you check the budget of the National Road Safety Authority, and I was arguing this on the floor of Parliament, why we are going to put more taxes on petrol, and we are not going to use the money to improve the road condition and road safety. I made this point 3 days ago, and I even suggested that 20 pesos that they want to add to the part of the fuel cost, 5 pesos should go to National Road Safety Authority, because we made them authority without giving them the necessary tools to be able to carry out the education and other things. So I think the ball is in the court of government. Even if it's a driver error, it's the job of the government to make the necessary laws to make sure all drivers, especially commercial drivers, do the right thing on the road. Because if you take money off drivers, I think it's just fair that they must be able to, because drivers are the ones buying the fuel. If you take money off them, I think put some of that money into something to improve their lot. And I feel if we can put, and I propose, in all about 30% is going to be taken. My brother, we are struggling to find money to build roads in this country. That is to improve the physical condition of the road. That's the road fund generated about 1.8 billion last year. We probably need about 5 billion to be able to do a good job on our road. So if you're going to add money, they take money off drivers. I thought if maybe by 10% to improve the national road safety, the road fund, so that they can build more roads, and also give 5% to the National Road Safety Authority to be able to carry out their mandate. Like you said, that we are taking all that money to do sanitation, where we know management and monitoring of sanitation contracts in this country has always been a problem. Who is going to be able to monitor and find out how many markets have been fumigated? I have big problem with this fumigation that have been carried out already, because nobody monitored it, whether they are actually doing whatever is supposed to be done. So I think they are going to create a lot of money and create a lot more corruption in terms of all these things in this country. And I can support that. And I said I will vote against that. I'll vote against today, tomorrow, and all the time, because it's not the solution. It is not the solution. There are more ways of targeting people who litter the streets in every country. Do that. Don't just do the easy one by taxing everybody. Take the money from this one and go and then waste it. I can support it.
Well, so that's the ranking member on the Transport Committee in Parliament, governs Kwame Agboja there. There are lots who say that dualizing the roads will be the way to go, but he disagrees. And before I come into the studio, he's been also telling me about his views on that. But 7 out of 8 corpses from the Solar Tuna Kalba accident involving a Sprinter bus have been identified and handed over to family members for burial. On the phone is Isaac Nonya, our correspondent. He joins us on the phone. Isaac, so you've been reporting on this rather sad situation all day. What exactly is the situation now? What would you say is the latest?
Yes, MFA, thank you. The latest is that 15 of those who were on a mission at the Solar District Hospital have been referred to the One Regional Hospital, and we are told by the doctor in charge, Dr. Roger, that they were in a stable condition, but they needed some tertiary medical attention. That's why they were referred to WA, because many of them come from WA. Or apart from the other one person who is there was another nursing mother of a kid who sustained some minor injury on the shoulder, but nothing happened to a little boy that she was carrying. There were 8 other corpses that were transferred to WA Regional Hospital mortuary. As we speak, the police has confirmed that 7 of 5 corpses have been identified, leaving 1 yet to be identified. The police have actually, the dust on the cause of the accident has settled, because the police, per the interaction with the interrogation with the driver today, has concluded that the cause of the accident is a result of the chop box that dropped from the other vehicle that overtook the first one, resulting in the bursting of the tire and the somersaulting into the bush, killing the 6 others on the spot. The police were able to trace pieces of the chop box that broke, that fell down and caused the accident. I will speak. The Southern Regional Police Command is having a possession of the set-top box, the pieces, the broken parts of it. The police also confirmed the number of passengers who were on board the said vehicle. They said the bus is a 23-seater bus, rightly so, and that there were 23 people inside the bus, including the driver and the mate. In this case, let's take the 8 people who died and then 15 others. So officially, this was coming from the police. So 15 transferred to one regional hospital, then 8 with 7 identified leaving one corpse at the one regional mortuary.
Colleague Isaac Nonya, there you can see the disturbing pictures on our screens there, giving us the very latest on that particular accident that occurred early today. But let's come into the studio, and the Rev Cyril Crab is president of the Accident Support, Victim Support, and of course Mr. Adonting is also head of Planning, National Road Safety Authority, is also joining us via Zoom. Thank you very much, Mr. Adonting, for your time here on the polls. So this situation doesn't seem to go away until we talk about it. At some point, people say that maybe more talk and nothing really is happening. But for me today, very disturbing, 517, looking at the figures just for January and February. How come? You'd have to unmute, Mr. Adonting.
Can you hear me?
It's much better now. I can. Thank you very much. So I'm asking about the figures.
Afternoon. Very good afternoon, my dear, and good afternoon to all. I think that you have clearly provided the statistics the way it is. Thanks to your reporters also for the crashes that are happening, especially the one that happened just yesterday and today. We are worried by the situation. As you rightly said, 517 deaths, January and February alone. We have not even gotten to the end of the quarter. Usually these figures are recorded over a quarter or a quarter and beyond. Now we're recording this figure in just 2 months. And it is very, very worrying, I must say, especially when the National Road Safety Authority and together with the multimedia and 21 other media partners are rolling out Arrive Alive, speaking to the issue all the time, engaging drivers, engaging transport operators, and engaging the general public on this issue of being responsible when we are in traffic. I think that over the past number of months now, since we started the Arrive Alive, we have consistently and comprehensively delivered road safety messages across the country, thanks to the media, multimedia in particular. And so when these problems are coming again, then indeed we must be worried. And we are worried, my good friend, we are worried.
But what could account for this? Because you said that previously we recorded the same figures, at least for the quarter. But this one is just for January and February. What are your figures telling you? What exactly could be accounting for this when it's coming at a time where we are really louder on issues about road safety?
Yeah, I think that February in particular happened to be one of the deadliest months, because if you look at the statistics in the past, once we come out of December and come out of the new year, then things start stabilizing. Stabilizing means that now those who are in business, those who travel a lot, wherever they went to, people are coming back to their bases to settle. You find a lot of travels across the country and generally on all the road networks. But this year in particular, we recorded a very high figure in fatalities at the end of the year, 2020, 2,589. And whilst we were discussing how to manage these particular figures, then January and February also hit us with these high numbers. And you have just mentioned some of the crashes that happened at various locations. Now, we have done some preliminary investigations. Others, we are ongoing. But you could see that the problems are the same problems that we talk about all the time. It's about the speeding. It's about the wrongful overtaking. That is where we're getting the head-on collisions. And then it's about fatigue. Drivers driving tired behind steering wheels and they're sleeping. I think these are the key issues that we've been hammering on all the time. What I can say is that I think people are becoming, drivers in particular, are becoming so recalcitrant. They are not ready to accept the message and take the responsibility and be disciplined. And so we, as the authority, in recent times, if you remember, on the 3rd of March, we issued a directive, 5 directives, and the directives are to address the gaps that we have identified. We are saying that if you're driving for a very long distance, 500 kilometers and above, or a journey of 8 hours, let us use 2 drivers. How many of these transport operators have complied with this? 2 drivers, one will drive for up to the middle of the journey, and the other will continue. Indeed, we have come out with all these things because they are the tools that can help us address the problems. Now, I know that we are also talking critically about what the road itself can do to help the human element that we are now providing. And we are talking about dualization. We are not saying that dualization will solve it all. But dualization is one of the measures that is globally accepted to deal with crashes related to head-ons. Head-ons are said that one vehicle coming from one approach, another from another approach, would have to hit each other. And these are metals. And if you look at the speeds that they're traveling with all the time, it always comes with very devastating, end results. So we are saying that much as we are working on the human beings, we are educating, sensitizing, and creating that awareness. As we move forward as a nation, it is important that we begin to also put in place all these other mechanisms that will help the process. Until we do that, we will continue to talk and talk. But if the other physical complementary measures do not come, it will mean that we will keep talking and it keeps happening. We are asking the system, the authorities, we are asking government, and we are happy to note from the budget read by government the last time at Parliament, it is now stating clearly government's intent to dualize most of the highways that we have been advocating for. We are indeed happy to hear that Accra-Kumasi in particular will become an express road. That is fantastic. We are also happy to hear that Tema to Aflao and Tema to Akosombo, and then coming down all the way from Accra to Takoradi are all going to be looked at in terms of expansion and dualization. Expressways.
The issue about dualization, but Mr. Adontin, the issue about dualization is always of concern to some others because the figures and the accidents that we're seeing, most of them are occurring on the good roads. So really, dualization, is that the solution to everything? Hello, Mr. Adontin. Okay, it appears that I've just lost Mr. Adontin there.
Yes, I agree with you. If you can.
Yes, I can.
What we're talking about, the dualization, is to address head-on collisions. In fact, I think people must get this message right.
No? Did we just lose Mr. Adontin again? Okay, so I think that we'll just...
I'm not saying overall, dualization will end the whole problem. Dualization will take off the aspects that requires vehicles not to have a head-on collision, and I think we must emphasize on.
Okay.
Of the crashes that we are seeing recording are head-ons, and head-ons take a huge number of lives. And so we are advocating for dualization to end the head-on collisions in particular. That is what we are talking about. I believe you understand me.
Yes, I do.
So the discussion on dualization is to eliminate completely, because if you look at what we did at Nsawam bypass, and then we also did that in Koko bypass. And even the Accra-Tema motorway, hardly would you hear any head-on collision, which means that if we are able to do the dualization, that component of the crashes that relates to head-on collisions, one vehicle and the other hitting each other head-on, will be out of the equation. That is what we're talking about.
Okay.
But the others involving the human error, the driver discipline and indiscipline, we are addressing that through the Arrive Alive campaign that we are rolling out now. It is about human beings or drivers changing their attitude, and they must change their attitude.
Yeah.
We have brought all these things to bear to them. We have engaged them. And so their refusal to accept the challenge and do what is right is what is causing us now. Drivers must accept the challenge. They must be disciplined.
Okay.
They must be disciplined. And I think that if we apply all these educational programs and they are not responding to, then our enforcement agencies must be up and doing.
Okay.
I think we must employ the strictest of enforcement to deal with the recalcitrant drivers, those who will refuse to apply their knowledge and their wisdom. They must be addressed and they must be dealt with by the police.
We're grateful. Mr. David Adonting is Director of Planning at the National Road Safety Authority. And of course, they are our key partners in the National Road Safety Arrive Alive campaign, together with the Logistics Movers and Toyota Ghana. And in the studio with me is Rev Cyril Crab as well. He speaks for the survivors of road accidents. And he is very passionate about this issue. And thankfully, I can't say that I have any experience when it comes to road accidents, because at least, but you can't be safe. You can't say that you are careful until the other driver or the pedestrian or whoever other road users are also careful. Sure. Because you can be careful, but a careless driver can run into you and it will lead to your death or, you know, disability. So there are two key issues that have come up: enforcement. And then also dualization of roads. And when we heard Governor Agboja speaking about it, I could see that you were passionate about it. But briefly, I want you to tell us about your experience with road accidents.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you, Joy Pulse, for the opportunity. In fact, I have been looking for this opportunity from January. You don't know how I have prayed to be here. You see, we are refusing to see what is at hand. You understand me? I personally have been a victim. I came out, but mine was more of a calling. Okay. You know, God was asking me, because the tears and the pain, the affliction, the sufferings of victims, survivors, have reached him. So I have to come. I've run away until 2009, 16 September. I myself was involved in 4 cars. I came out of the car. And before I gained consciousness, I was at the Kolebu OPD, and then that was what happened. I was going even to help them, and they told me, look, you are even in a crash, you are a victim, I have blood all over, and so I have to go back and relax.
Serve a living God.
It's serve a living God. I'm a pastor, yes, but I think that a little has been done, you know, with regards to advocacy and also letting education on insurance. We live in a country where we know that definitely there will be a road crash, whether we have dualization, whether we have enforcement, however it is, there will be crashes some way, somehow. But the victims, the passengers, the indigenes of this country, what are we doing for them to have some kind of life after crash? That is where we need to give, because now whatever we are doing, it won't help the victim. When anybody, an individual, you've never experienced it before, but the moment you get into it, you are on your own. Chasing, you know, insurance is an issue. You are on your own completely. You are on your own completely.
Tell us about it. How difficult is it?
Very difficult. Extremely difficult. Yes, we have insurance here, but before you get it as a victim, you have to prove yourself, where you have to go for first medical report, second medical report. Both of them you pay. And the police must give you a form to fill it. When after filling it, you send it to the hospital for doctors to assess you, to assess the degree of injury, the impact of the accident on you. You take it back. The police will, the insurance people will assess it, and they will ask you again to go for a final report, where you have to pay. Sometimes you have to pay even 1,000 Ghana cedi, 800 Ghana, some huge amount. Depending on the insurance, they will think that you are going to get. They share it with you. They get their quota, and that's where my problem is. People are crying. People are crying to the extent that some have become, you know, orphans. Some have become dropouts. Some have become hawkers. As we talk right now, we have widows and widowers from the night march crash that people got bent. Some of them came to me for employment. And it's so sad that we have a country as if we don't care. And we are talking about dualization. It's good. It's part of the problem. But what are we doing with regards to the human beings that get involved? What policy is there? I was coming from National Insurance Commission for a program we are about to organize to commemorate the 22nd March, which took over 100 people. I sat here and I spoke about it. It was catastrophic. It was barbaric. In fact, it could be avoided. Yet, we crashed 2 separate accidents that took over 100 people. Nobody remembers it. We buried people just like that in a bag. I buried them on the 25th. And so you ask yourself, these human beings, they didn't call to die. They didn't pay to go and die. What are we doing that these occurrences will be mitigated in the future? And
what did the road safety committee know? You said you went
your
to
guess is as good as mine. You are a Ghanaian. Your guess is as good as mine before anybody victimized me.
But we haven't forgotten, though. You know that we have an Arrive Alive campaign and we talk about
the Arrive Alive campaign, the impact. I don't think the people are listening. Look at this accident. They are all millionaires. It is preposterous. This is ridiculous. So are we happy? Even one soul to die. Look at how it is.
That's
and
too
we
many.
sit in a country and we hear 15 people, 16 people, 17 people, and we are so happy.
You think, what do you think could be the reason that we are so used to the numbers?
It has become part of us now.
Has it?
Look at the number. It means if you have to divide it in a day, we are in 2 months, 60 days. We have
9 a day, we should say.
Thank you very much. How? Why? Is it some kind of genocide? I don't get it. You understand? And these are deaths, we can avoid them. It can be done. As such, you heard me saying it's long overdue with enforcement.
Yeah.
The police rather believes in victimization rather than enforcing the law.
How do you mean?
I meant that. Like I'm sitting here talking about the police. Let me go and then probably pass through traffic. Do anything at all for them to even mark me. You are going to be victim with the TV soon. I can't be open on the wire. And I could. But for them to see serious incident like the May 9th, the 9th March incident, my sister, what some of the victims told me was that when they are going to the north, they carry motor, and the motor is full with fuel. So when it crashed, the fuel dropped on the heated engine, and then it sparked into fire. That caused. What are we doing to check this? That people don't park motor, they don't take motors from here full with fuel. That if there should be any crash, it's going to burst into fire. People, I'm hearing over there, when the Bupe accident happened, I went there. Wherever accident happened, I'm there. Tomorrow I'll be in Winnipeg because I heard another one has happened. I've been called already.
So when you go there, what do you do?
We see to what we can do for the victims.
Okay.
How they can access insurance. How they can have their life back. You know, life is very, very important. They are human beings. Thanks be to God, they didn't die. They have survived. But what do we do for them to have the essence of life again? For them to forget about the trauma, the ordeal they've been through. Some of them do, as I talk to you now, continuously cursed drivers who hit them and run away, who do not even come to soft support or visit them. We visit every accident spot, continue to visit. You know, so that they will know that at least in Ghana, we care. And when you are in a country where people are always complaining of pain, misery, afflictions, you know, difficulty, it makes even God to forget about us.
So beyond the monetary support, for instance, and then also the insurance packages that they chase or you help them chase, do they get psychological support?
Exactly.
What is the mental state
accident
of
victim support?
People like that?
Accident victim, yes. You see, when it happens like that, their state of mind change. Some of them do not even want to join any car. And some of them, if they join it with the slightest break, or anything that comes to near crash, yes, it comes back. So what we do is that we take them to, I'm a pastor, so we take them to biblical and psychological counseling. And then we also see how we can reintegrate them back to society, that they can have their livelihood back. So like I'm saying, we are looking for a job for some that they will forget about how their mother got bent, you know, and they don't see the mother again. We are looking at how we can get some of them recovery aids, as in crutches, wheelchair, Zima frames, you know, because these are things that they have never even planned for it. Yeah. And so every now and then you will see me on Facebook, Instagram, you know, requesting or soliciting for these things, for these.
Okay. So in all, let's say, how many accident victims have we been able to support?
Over 160 victims. Because of the COVID, we couldn't bring all of them. But last year, Arrive Alive with the National Road Safety Authority and yourself, the Pulse, did very well to give us a little bit of campaign. We are trying to approach the presidency or the government to at least accept this as a policy. Sit with us, see how best, because this is the 10th year we started this, that we gave physically to accident victims. We've given to Efia Kwanta, we've given to Kofanochi, we've given to Kolebu, Kolebu, and then also Cape Coast Interbeting, Kaswa, we've given to, I can't mention all of them.
Okay, but what would you say to people like, I've heard you say that you're hoping that government takes this on as well, so that at least there'll be some support for accident victims. On the other hand, there are those who would say that once there's some form of huge support and there's, profiteering in that sector, then it's encouraging accidents on our roads.
Never at all. Actually, if it is for profiting, reasons, Cyril will not be there. Look at me sitting down here. If I should remove you'll see my face. I was hospitalized and the doctor told me, look, forget about this. It's too much a burden for you. But it is God who has given me. That is why I always solicit from the churches, my fellow senior, middle, and junior pastors, that listen, we are the interveners. We stand in the gap for the people. I wouldn't be happy to, when I went to bury 25 people, my first experience as a pastor, burying 25 people, not burying them in a coffin or even in a proper, properly dug tomb, but just normal tomb with some, it's so pathetic.
Yeah.
So pathetic. There is no dignity for the lives of those who got burnt. And I felt so bad. There are tombs like I did for my mom. It's not like this. There is nothing there to give remembrance. When those girls came to me, they said, Reverend, we want to go and see where our mother was buried. So I called their father. The father said no, because it was not befitting. So that is what I'm saying. It is not profiting. And anybody who wants to use the deaths of these people, the afflictions of these people to make money, God will judge you at the end of the day.
So then I'm sure there are people watching now that would want to be of help to the Accident Victim Support Ghana. How are they able to do so?
We have a website, avsghana.org, and we also have a number 0246. That's my personal number, but our helpline, support line, 0246869214 is my personal number. We can sit and talk about the recovery aids and the support you want to give for them. And then also 0241 1234 30.
Okay.
Yes, 30. That's our support line that anybody who wants to support. We have the One Ghana, One Victim campaign that we'll be doing. We are launching a One Man, One Victim campaign. And also on the 31st, we are having the National All Drivers Prayer Summit, which we are praying seriously against this and also educate.
You think it's also spiritual?
There is some kind of superstition because
surprisingly, no, I don't believe in superstition. I'm asking whether it's spiritual as well.
There is an iota. There is some kind of, minute, spirituality in there. Because yesterday or 3 days today, a friend called me about such an accident. 3 crashes on a major road like that. I was sharing with one of National Road Safety Authority staff, where on Sunday, Reverend Ismail Awudu, I want to salute you. He's receiving us to pray against, these things. And I will employ everyone, Ghanaians, that it has become our issue.
Prayer can resolve it?
No, not prayer. But I'm saying that.
Can it? To an extent?
Not prayer. Not prayer alone. But in the churches, if we can take even 1 minute to educate, to advise, that as you are going, we pray that you will not fall victim of an accident. But make sure you follow these processes. Indeed, if I don't put on this, you may think I have COVID in it. So the same way we are saying that when you are going, put on your seatbelt, respect the traffic light, you know, at least slow down, drive carefully, don't overspeed, don't overtake wrongfully. Then pastors are helping the issue with prayer now.
Yeah,
it can work. Okay, that is what we are seeing.
I'm enjoying the conversation with you, but unfortunately I'm out of time on that. Reverend Cyril Crab, I'm very grateful for your time. He's with the Accident Victims Support Ghana, and if you want to help the foundation, is 024-6869-214 or 024-11-23430. You can also visit their website to offer help to victims of accidents. They need that support. This is the Pulse here on the JoyNews channel.